ours, the more we do, the better. I don't believe that. And most of us don't believe that. So, you're going to see my mug around town now for the next 6 weeks.
Great.
Because we are going to campaign hard every single day. That's good news number one. Good piece of news number two is, I always want to do this, but I can't. I can't, never mind. I was going to say Helene's expecting a child, but I can't say that.
What?
No. Never mind. I just love saying it. Good news number two is this. And this is the really good news. It had always been the goal of our campaign, and we don't tell you everything. Heck, they don't tell me everything. But it had always sort of been our goal in our heads that, knowing what the deal is, that they drew a really tough district, and they drew a district that's just loaded with Democrats to elect Tammy Duckworth. It had always been our goal that by Labor Day, we really wanted it to be a race. Gosh, we wanted to have a chance. We wanted to be in the game by Labor Day. And that's what all my staff was hoping for, and that's what all of our political people were hoping for. That's what the NRCC back in Washington was hoping for. If that guy Walsh, if he can just make it close by Labor Day, oh my God, he might win this thing. What's the date today?
August 3rd.
August 3rd. I am very happy to report that we know, and I know that on August 3rd, right now, as we stand here and sit here, this race is extremely close. And I can tell you what, knowing what I know about Tammy Duckworth and her infamous advisors, Ron and David Axelrod, they are as nervous as Democrats can be. Good. I don't know that they wanted me in this race. I know they didn't. They wanted it to be handed to her. 4 or 5 months now, 5 or 6 months after we've gotten into this race, we've made it a battle, and that's wonderful. And we've made it a battle principally because I'm a pretty fair candidate. Trudy, I'm a fair candidate.
Yes.
Fair, average.
Yes.
I'm an okay. No, Trudy. Do you want the mic? No. I've worked hard. You know, I've been out there a lot. We've raised some money, and we've been able to do some things. President Obama, you know, has helped us a lot. In fact, no, he has, yeah. In fact, I call him, Tim, easily once a week I'll call the president because I'd like to talk to him. And I'd like to encourage him every single week to stand out there and keep talking about business in America. So that's helped. And I really do believe that Mitt Romney is running a pretty smart campaign. I really think he is. And I think the fact that this country that we love is still on its back, dying, strapped up right on its back because of taxes and regulations, that helps. It helps that this president is so clueless about business. That all helps us. And that's helped tighten the race. It's helped that Tammy Duckworth does not have an original thought in her head. That has helped. But the reason, Bob Babby, the reason, Kathy Hamilton, the reason, Jeff C. and my entire staff, the reason all of us, that this is a race, and this guy standing before you who is, here's what I picture. I picture that news media people all over the country, they've got posters of Joe Walsh in their newsrooms. And every night they
dartboards, right?
They throw things. The reason that this guy, the Democrats' #1 target around the country, is this close to Duckworth in this district right now is because of what happened the other night when I was in Washington and everybody and their mother went to eat at Chick-fil-A. Oh my God, I wish I had been here that night. But that incident, I mean, people from all over the place going to Chick-fil-A, standing in line for hours.
In the sun,
In
yeah.
the sun.
90 minutes.
Under the moon. In line for hours to eat and to let their voice be heard was miraculous. And it made me think again that, like in 2010, there's something going on. There is something bubbling up right now, just like it was 2 years ago, that the media, thank God, doesn't see. That the Democratic Party won't acknowledge. And that my Republican Party does not yet give sufficient credence to. There is a movement of people, young and old, rich and poor in this country, that has had it. And what we saw at Chick-fil-A the other day just exemplified it.
Yes.
We are probably the only congressional campaign I know in Illinois, perhaps around the country, that for months has been knocking on doors and for months has been making phone calls. The reason Joe Walsh is this close, and all right, I'll confess. I can't stand politicians that say, I know I'm going to win. Hey, Trudy, I know I'm going to win. We're going to win this thing. I know it. But I came home last night and I said to John Karras in the car, and I said to my wife before I went to bed last night, first time I've ever said this. I said, sweetie, not to John.
Is it wrong?
To John, I said, Mr. Karras. And to my wife, I said, sweetie, you know what? For the first time, I think I'm going to win. And I'm a little slow. Barb Babby's been telling me this for a few weeks now. There's something different on the ground. And I think it's just going to overtake us all again. I think it's going to overtake the political class. I think it's going to respectfully pick this president up, pat him on the head, and say, son, Mr. President, you were never ready to be president. Now go home, work for somebody, and find out how the real world works. And I think it's a movement of people that's going to say to the Republican Party, no, let me go to Romney first. It's going to say to Mr. Romney, because I think it's going to elect Mitt Romney, it's going to say, Mr. Romney, you're a good man, you're a decent man. By the way, he is a good man. Mitt Romney is a decent man. And I think the movement of Americans that wants their country back, they're going to say, Mr. Romney, you've got 4 years. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to follow you. I'm going to support you. But you better do what's right. Good luck. Godspeed, Mr. Romney. And then this movement of Americans that's going to keep us in the House, and probably the worst nightmare for my establishment, the movement's going to send me back to Washington. This movement of people, this movement of Americans, young and old, that believes in their bones that for the first time in our country's history, we are, excuse me, I need a prop. For the first time in our country's history, this movement believes we are the width of a Dorito away from leaving our kids and our grandkids with a country less free and less prosperous. And so that movement is going to say to my Republican Party, you did sort of okay in 2010, not good enough. But now you've got the White House because we've given it to you. Now you've kept the House because we've let you keep it. And now you've got the Senate. You have the whole darn city, Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time to be bold and begin to give us our country back and get this thing called Washington off of our backs.
Amen.
And I think the Republican Party's got a real good shot at delivering for you. Let me close with a couple things. We are close, and I really think we're going to win it now because of this grassroots army. Duckworth's going to have a heck of a lot of money. Duckworth will stay away from people. She just doesn't like to be in front of people. I love it. I love it. It's this grassroots army that you can't measure. And I'll be honest, when I talk to political experts in D.C., they know me, they know there aren't many like me, and they say it's going to be tough. Because Duckworth, you know, she's got Axelrod, she's got all that money. They don't measure this. They don't measure this. That's why I won last time, and nobody expected me to win. We're going to do it again because of this army. And so I'm going to ask this army, no questions, no Q&A. I'm going to ask this army,
I just want to add something.
what?
You tell them about Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
In your position.
Yeah, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz, down in Texas, outspent 4-1. Governor Rick Perry endorsed his opponent. I don't know, call me crazy. Once again, it's just this movement of Americans said no. So you're right. We need this movement to do more now. We've done a lot, pat ourselves on the back. Barbie, Jess, we have what, maybe 50-some people walking tomorrow? 50, 52 people walking tomorrow? That may seem like a lot. We need more. I need this army, we need this army now to turn up the heat in August. Because I want, when Labor Day comes around, I want Axelrod and Emmanuel to be dizzy. I want them to be like this, because they have no idea where all these people are. The most helpful thing you can do for me is to knock on your neighbor's door. The second most helpful thing you can do for me is to come into this district and knock on somebody's door, like Barb Babby! Like Barb Babby, who says, or like Trudy who says, I live in Barrington. I'm losing Congressman Walsh, but I'm down here in Elk Grove marching, knocking on doors, because we can't lose people like Congressman Walsh.
Right.
We need to turn it up every week. If we have 50 to 80 people marching on a weekend like we have in July, we need 100 to 200 a weekend in August, and we need 200 to 400 a weekend in September. And by the way, folks, the best time to knock on doors is weekdays after work. We need people who live in the district knocking on their neighborhoods during the week. Look, it's pretty, I walk a lot. It's pretty cool when a congressman knocks on your door. The best way to get a vote is to have a neighbor knock on the neighbor's door and say, I believe in this guy. This guy sleeps in his office. This guy turned down his health care and his pension. This guy's limited himself to 6 years. You know what? The Republican establishment and the Democratic Party hate this guy. Here's why I like him. There's nothing better than when a neighbor says that to a neighbor. So please, get to Barb, sign up. We're going to keep growing this army, and I really, truly believe, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to win. That's bull. I'm going to tell you that I really think I got a great shot. I really think I'm going to do it. And I cannot do it without this army. Enjoy everything you're eating and drinking tonight. Sign up, and let's turn this up. God bless you. Thank you. And one more thing. Don't make the Chick-fil-A thing a one-day deal. Go to Chick-fil-A as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. Amen.